Hi, everybody. Mark Bertig on Renda Digital TV with United Valley head coach Kevin Marabito. Kevin, we'll talk about the merger and the challenge in front of you. United High School and Blacklick Valley combining for the 2022 season, right?
That's going to be exciting, Mark. I mean, for the last 3 years, we struggled numbers. Finally coming into this season, we're preliminary. We're going to be at 50-51, but I've coached long enough. We're hoping for 40 to 45. But everything so far has worked out. I mean, we had some game nights, or we had one game night pizza party together. The summer workouts. We're not getting everybody, but it's pretty positive of what we had to this point. I mean, it's going to be a challenge just blending everybody together, but we're looking forward to it.
Before we talk about more of the challenges of putting the two schools together, I wanted to kind of go back. We both lost a good friend in Jerry Page. I believe December 22nd, the legendary coach left us. And I know Jerry was special to you. We were both at his funeral up the road from Winburn here at Seward, the Holy Family Parish. And he meant a lot to high school football and to beyond high school football, just the number of lives he impacted as a faculty member at Laurel Valley High School. And I think it's also maybe even long overdue, but a great honor that they're going to name the football field at Laurel Valley High School, where they still play youth football, in Jerry's name.
It's well-deserving. I mean, Coach Page meant a lot to me. I mean, he was people think I was a football coach. I looked at him almost like another father. I mean, he treated me well. I could always remember when I got my first head coaching job, he says, or his wife said, I don't know what we're going to do now. We'll probably start losing. They kept winning, But he just had that impact on players. I mean, it wasn't about football to him, Mark. I mean, he was just one great man. I mean, I can't say enough about him. I mean, he taught me a lot about coaching, a lot about life, and it was a sad day, but, he lived a great life, and, I still think about him every day, but, he went on, and he's probably a head coach somewhere up above. I mean, he was just a man that you'll never forget. I mean, he definitely impacted my life a lot.
Yeah, mine too. And the little bit I was around him, always positive. Every opponent put fear into Jerry, and it's certainly a life worth celebrating, and we will celebrate his legacy.
It was always those 0-9 teams that, he was always worried about. The undefeated ones, he didn't care, but, man, he kept you on your toes. I mean, he was just that, but he was always positive. I mean, no matter what, just positive in life and just a positive person.
We will miss him. Kevin, United, you've struggled since going to the championship game in 2018, the District 6 championship game I'm referring to. Challenges since then. So Blacklick Valley, same way. I think they were 1-8 or 1-9 a year ago, and you went winless. So this merger comes at a good time, but it's a little bit different than what we saw at River Valley, where you pulled two schools into the same building. The schools are still independent. So talk about how you put the pieces together with practices and everything else and simulating the two schools into one group.
Well, the logistics was tough. I mean, originally when it started out, they wanted us to practice 1 week at United, 1 week at Blacklick, traveling back and forth, which, as I said, you got to find an identity. You need one place to stay. So, the way we've done it right now, the practices will be at United, or junior high squad will go to Blacklick. So you're splitting it up. They're busing the kids each day. I mean, it's definitely a lot of things that the AD had to handle. I mean, as far as me, it's getting the kids to blend together, but it's been challenging. I mean, we did some things in the off season. We had a game night, pizza night. I think we had like 50-some players show up for that night. In the passing workouts, we had some of the kids participate with us in the summer from Blacklick for lifting. I think we averaged 7 or 8 kids from there. We had lifting at Blacklick also. So, right now, I think the biggest obstacle we have is when you don't win. I mean, you can coach players and teach them the fundamentals, but when it comes down to it, you can't teach them how to win. And that's my biggest fear right now, because we haven't tasted success since 2018. They've struggled for a long time. So it's really going to come down to understanding how to win, that you got to show up every day. And now with the numbers, kids are going to have to audition every day. I mean, we told the players this already. I mean, some kids were starters last year that may not be starters this year, and And the other selling point is going to be the parents, because that's, that a lot of times that becomes a difficult part. That my son started last year, he's not starting this year, but we've played kids the last 3 years that probably, weren't ready to play, but, the things that we had to play them. So I'm excited for Monday to come, just to see how things will come. And I think as it goes on, it'll get better. And it's like I told one reporter, it's almost like coaching in an all-star game. When you first get there, the Homer Center kids, the United kids, they all sit together. But as the week goes on, they're mixing in with everybody. And that's how we feel it's going to work out.
Well, you were a young team last year with United. I think my charts from the Homer Center game only showed 2 or 3 senior starters. And from what you told me off, Mike, they were a young ball club too. And you really won't have that many seniors, will you, to lean on this year even?
No, really, we're going to be a young football team again. I mean, majority of our players are freshmen, sophomores, juniors. I think the final total I got right now, we may have 7 seniors between the 2 schools. So it's we're still going to be young, but, we have experienced players coming back. So, if everything blends and works and we learn how to win. I mean, that's my biggest fear right now. I think we can teach them everything else, but learning how to win. I mean, losing becomes a habit, and, both schools have had bad habits for the last 3 years.
Coach, what about the staff? Do you keep your staff intact? Do you inherit some coaches from Blacklick Valley?
Yes, we inherited three paid coaches from Blacklick Valley, with there, and I kept my staff together. We have some volunteers coming in, but it was pretty fair mix. I mean, we got 2 varsity assistants that'll come from Blacklick, Greg Schilling and Bob DePelco. He's there, DePaul. So it's worked out well.
Drop a couple names, kids that you have hopes for this year that can lead you.
Well, right now we're leaning heavily on Caden McCauley. I mean, he started running back, outside linebacker for us. He should be an impact player for us. Gino DePaulo, who's done some good things in the off season for us. That's both the players I brought today that are really going to help us. I mean, the rest, it's going to be up in the air of who's where and who's starting. But I mean, so far, those 2 guys have played an impact. But there's many other ones that, I hate mentioning names because you upset other people. So the 2 that I brought today should be our impact players, and there's a lot that are going to contribute.
What about the Heritage Conference? How do you see things in 2022?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, Homer Center. I mean, I think that's a team to beat. I mean, Greg runs a great program. He's just like his dad. But, I know they have a lot coming back. Cambria Heights should be up in there. Penns Manor returns 11-11. So, it's going to be a tough conference. But I think, hands down, Homer should be the team to beat in the conference this year.
Well, we'll kind of close with how you started. I know Greg Page very well, covering the Wildcats for all these years. I can't tell you how worried he is about that opening game against the United Valley Lions. That probably doesn't surprise you.
No, he's his dad in and out. I mean, Greg does a phenomenal job, and then, I think we're just hoping to get through that game healthy and, put on a good show that night. But, Greg's a team to beat. Tell him I even said that.
Well, I remind them all the time. Even when they're not the team to beat, I tell them that. Kevin, thanks for doing this. We'll look forward to seeing you. We go from season to season. I just got done running a couple of state baseball tournaments, and here I am a few days later. We're talking football as we turn the page.
Hey, it keeps you young, Mark. Thanks a lot.
All right, Kevin. Kevin Marabito, quite a guy, quite a coach for many years. Talk about a guy that has impacted a lot of lives. This guy has, and now he has a new challenge in front of him, and he's met many of them through the years at different schools. Here's a new one as he puts Blacklick Valley and United together to form the United Valley Lions. We're going to come back and talk to a couple of players as well. With Kevin Marabito, I'm Mark Bertig on Renda Digital TV.